The amount banks will repay on May 21 is more than this week's repayments of €3.365 billion, and above the €3.5 billion forecast in a Reuters poll. And Lieutenant REFI and GTN banks are voluntarily offloading the crisis loans they took from the ECB in late 2011 and early 2012 in anticipation of Europe-wide bank stress tests, which will over the next couple of months check how the lenders hold up under certain scenarios. And the tests are part of a broader balance sheet review done by ECB before it takes over as bank supervisor in November. And the repayments have reduced the amount of spare cash in the system to levels that have started to put upward pressure on overnight bank-to-bank lending rates. EONIA has shot above the ECB's main rate of 0.25% several times now, but stood at 0.172% on Thursday. In excess liquidity, which is the measure of money that banks have beyond what they need for their day-to-day operations, stood at €113 billion on Friday, recovering from €74 billion last week as banks adjust their funding. And ECB President Mario Draghi pointed out last week that recent volatility in short-term money market rates had not spilled over into the medium term and that more liquidity in the EONIA market was to some extent a positive sign as banks were going back to the market and fragmentation was receding. And, in other words, banks rely less on the ECB and more on each other, Draghi said in the post-policy meeting news conference. And on Friday, the ECB said 3 banks would repay €5.005 billion from the first ultra on May 21, and 2 banks would pay back €1.15 billion from the second ultra. And, reporting by Ava Taylor, editing by Toby Chopra,